I'm Karina. I'm from rockfreaks.net, one of the biggest Danish online magazines where we write in English. And who are you?
Yeah, I am Rob from Don Broco. Hello.
Hi. So, in 5 days, you kick off a tour with Sleeping with Sirens. And I have a question about how did you guys decide to join forces on this tour?
Yeah, we actually toured with them a few months ago in the States, which was something we'd been sort of talking about for probably the last 5 or 6 years, probably longer actually. We were kind of aware of each other's bands, yeah, over the kind of both of our last few albums, and chatted a little bit and stuff online, and then they asked us to come and support them on their American tour, which was amazing. It was probably like, one of the best tours we've ever done out in the States. Just got on really well with those guys, and just, chatting on the tour, talking about our plans and how neither of us had been back to Europe since COVID. We thought, wow, wouldn't it be fun to kind of extend the vibes and and team up together. So yeah, I kind of happened to get pretty quickly after that, and yeah, can't wait. Like, those guys are just great to be on the road with, awesome bands. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, because your previous album was released in 2021, Amazing Things. And can you tell me a bit about the whole album as itself? Because you pick up a few things, but I mean, you guys wrote it, so you can give a more clear answer on the album as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, as a whole, a lot of people have told us it's so different to our old stuff. A lot of people were like, wow, this is crazy, you guys have gone so heavy. What a gear shift. And I think we never saw it in that way. Maybe we will kind of in hindsight. At the moment, it still felt like a real kind of obvious progression from our last record, Technology. We kind of lent into some of I guess some of the music we really enjoyed growing up, like the kind of new metal sound, and I guess more of like, aggressive kind of vocals, which me personally have always kind of maybe shied away from a little bit, because so many bands do that. We've always prided ourselves on trying to do, something different and original every time we write an album. And I think on previous albums, while a lot of bands were doing that, I thought, nah, I don't want to do anything like that. And then this time I was like, screw it, this is going to be really fun. And I think the way the songs came together, and the meaning behind the songs and the lyrics, and just being kind of, I guess, a lot angrier about the world and the uncertainty that we all faced. It felt right kind of pushing the vocals in that direction. And then the riffs as well, just kind of unleashing and, creating an album that we were just really excited to play live. That was something that we kind of did for the first time crazily. Looking back now, I kind of find it mental that on our first few records, we never thought about that. We just wrote the songs together in the practice room, then the studio, and then that was it. And, as we've kind of, grown as a band, we've, realized how important it is for us to enjoy playing the songs live, because that's what we do all the time. That's the thing that we do the most as a band, play shows, and that's the thing we enjoy the most. So we think, what are we going to enjoy playing on stage? What are fans going to enjoy rocking out to? And so, yeah, all those kind of factors, and, I guess, yeah, writing an album in lockdown as well contributed to this kind of slightly angrier, definitely harder hitting record.
Yeah, I would say it's different. I mean, it's really good. I think it might be my favorite album you guys have released, but you also have a bit of a more lighthearted a song on it called, I just have to pull it up. Where is it? It's here. Manchester Super Reds #1 fan. Are you a Manchester United fan?
So I'm not actually. Matt, our drummer is.
Ah,
And that came about from a very just, random thing. And sometimes things happen in the studio where, they're not where you expect the song to go, and you just hold on to it and you think this is a moment, we've got to pursue this. So I was actually clearing out my not clearing out, but like just tidying up my like parents' house. They had all this stuff, all these toys and things from when I was a kid. They'd eventually been like, okay, we need to like start, clearing some room because you can't have your old bedroom still. And my dad had got me this Manchester United keyring. It was like a fake Man U keyring, not official merchandise, from when
Bought
I
in
was a
Spain.
kid. Yeah, I mean, actually, I think maybe he got it in Manchester, or he'd been on at work there. And I supported Manchester United back then when I was a kid. And it was this keyring that said Manchester Super Reds #1 fan. And so I brought it into the studio for Matt. And we were halfway through this song, and we wanted something like to join these two very different ideas. You've got the kind of intro build-up section of the song that then kind of goes into this more electronic led verse. And we were just like, these sound great together, but how are we going to make them fit? And I just said, doesn't matter, we'll figure it out. I'll just do a shout or something. I'll shout Manchester Super Reds #1 fan, and just, recorded it there and then, and as a placeholder vocal. And then when we heard it back, we were like, wow, this just sounds really weird. People hearing the song are going to want to know what this song's about, because I've never heard a song that says anything like that in it. And it kind of worked as well in a very kind of weird way. The song lyrically that I was writing about, which was about the hate that people kind of can put out into the world, the way people can kind of tear down anyone online, but especially people on social media, people who they respect and love, whether they're music fans or fans of movie stars, and also very much so football fans. Like, football fans are kind of notoriously the worst for if their favorite player misses a goal, misses a penalty, just the hate that people put out, whether it's, there's so much, to unpack within that kind of topic, and especially within football. We thought, okay, this is randomly a very nice coincidence that this placeholder vocal stuck. So we kind of ran with that, and then ended up kind of doing a sort of Manchester United referenced video. We had a fake David Beckham lookalike that set in this kind of Star Trek, classic Star Trek world. So it was this just weird mishmash of stuff, which I guess is kind of very Don Broco, in everything we do, whether it's songwriting, the sound of a record, videos. We like bringing together all these different things that make us who we are. So that song felt like a real kind of, a very honest representation of kind of what Don Broco are in that moment.
I do hope it's on the set list.
Oh, definitely, yeah. We've been playing since we had that. I don't think it's left the set list since we wrote that song, so that'll be on.
That's brilliant. It's a good song. I liked it. I like the fun in it. And you've released 4 albums, and you're going to be coming up at some point, not right now, coming up on your 5th album. And how does it feel like? It's not something every band gets around to do, mostly in your genre and like, okay, maybe we can look at Sleeping with Sirens. They released like 7 albums up at this point. But how does it feel? Like, you have a lot of popularity now with Amazing Things, and you can even see it on Instagram with all the followers you have and all the positive comments. But now, how does it feel with going from being in a little English band to becoming such a huge, like, worldwide known band for? Yeah.
Good question. I mean, it definitely, we feel very grateful that, you know, we've been a band long enough to release four records. You know, that's something that, you know, we never I guess we don't take for granted. We never knew that would happen. You know, this was always just a, you know, a passion project from, you know, 4 guys who, you know, originally we met at school. You know, we were a school band, so, you know, we've been playing together since we were 16. So it's kind of crazy that now we're that far along in our career that we can be doing this as a career. And yeah, getting to travel the world and play to people, you know, in so many different countries. So yeah, we feel very lucky. I mean, sometimes we're like, you know, how the hell did we get here? And it's really one of those kind of pinch yourself moments. But then, you know, a lot of the time we're always planning, we're always scheming, we're always writing. We're always trying to better ourselves and write better songs and put on better shows. And, you know, it kind of feels that we're still, weirdly, it still kind of feels like we're starting out in a lot of ways. Like, every time we write a new album, it feels like a fresh start musically for us. You know, we always jump off from where we've been before, but, you know, we always, you know, start everything almost from a clean slate and anything goes kind of policy. And yeah, I mean, I think being from a tiny island, which it is, you know, when we get to play, you know, across the world, whether it's, you know, across Europe or the States, or when we get to go out to Asia, you know, we still feel very much like we are a new band out there, because a lot of people don't know us outside of the UK. So it's kind of fun to approach it like that, because every time we're just wanting to, you know, let people hear about our music and make new fans and win people over. So, you know, it doesn't feel like we've been a band that could have released 4 albums. It honestly feels like that those years have gone so quickly. Yeah, we're just excited to get out and reach new people.
Oh yeah, I understand you. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't know. I haven't been in a band, and if I had, it probably wouldn't be successful. So I'll take the word for it.
Know that.
I've heard myself sing. So one of the things I think people would like to know is, you've been a band since 2008, right? And that's a long time now. We're in 2023. So as the years have gone on, what are some of the aspects that you, as being a band, have been concentrating a lot more on? Like, you mentioned putting on better shows and all of this, but what about inside the band? Do you feel the need to retreat from each other when you get back from tours, or do you just head on over to each other and have pillow fights?
I think, like, we've definitely got, like, in recent years, and probably as well, like, for a lot of people since like lockdown and going through that and learning that, you know, it's not, you know, a cardinal sin to take your foot off the gas at some points and give yourself a bit of me time. I definitely think in our earlier years, we were so hell-bent on doing every single thing we possibly could to further our career, taking every show we ever got offered, coming up with, we used to write so many songs, honestly, so many terrible songs as well, because we were just churning them out because we were thinking every day we had to kind of keep improving. And I think, over time you realize that actually, it's important to live a healthy, balanced lifestyle where not everything is based around work. So, we are lucky that we can call, writing songs and doing band things work. But at the same time, if you do anything too much, like anything, it stops being fun and you stop relishing the good things about it that make you love it. So definitely now, like, as well, since like enjoying, like, lockdown was terrible in so many ways, but there were those moments from it where you're like, okay, well, actually this kind of nice, like, peace and quiet, and going for a walk, that's something I would never have done before lockdown. Like, why do I go for a walk? That's boring. But like actually taking the time for yourself and relaxing into things, and it's so important just for mental well-being, and not getting burnt out. So definitely now, like, when we're not on tour, we are not non-stop, like, hassling each other. I mean, it didn't help actually, me and Matt, the drummer in Don Broco, we used to live together. So we would constantly, even when we were in downtime, we'd be like, watching a movie or something, and we'd be like, oh yeah, that's that email we should get back to, or like, we'd be coming up with ideas constantly, and it meant you never actually got that kind of switch off. So yeah, I liked, maybe we will meet up for a pillow fight, now and then.
As we all do. As we all do.
That's what you do. But we see each other, every week, or every week or so for, to write or for a band practice or something like that. And we're constantly chatting to each other, on WhatsApp and things. But there's definitely more time now that we're allowing ourselves to just like switch off, just for a couple of hours a day, or at least the weekend. We didn't believe in weekends originally. We'd work like all 7 days, and you'd be like, why am I so tired? But now, I think we've got a healthier balance, which is nice.
So during your off time, what do you guys like to do?
I mean, I just love, seeing my friends that aren't in the band, because even though we are all friends, it's nice to see, other people. And then, so yeah, getting to see my friends, the family, getting some exercise, which is always good, because you do, I think on tour, you're jumping around a lot.
Yeah.
But it's like the same sort of thing, repetitive, just like, and yeah, my neck is just like done by the end of like a tour, just like from headbanging, whatever, I'm done. So I like peace and quiet. Some I've just taken up some Pilates actually, which someone recommended, because I was coming back off tour just like stiff because my neck was done. So yeah, I've started taking up that, which is kind of nice and relaxing, a bit of yoga, just playing sports, a lot of video games still. We actually discovered, this is kind of wild, very late in the game with, and it's, most people who play proper video games are like, how can you play this? It's the worst. But we discovered Fortnite quite late in the day as a tour game, because it's just something, it's just really fun, like all being around on your switches. We all bring switches on tour,
of course.
And it's really fun just all being like in the same room and just playing, on the tour bus and stuff. It's great. But we kind of carry that on when we're at home. So, every week or every 2 weeks, we'll meet up with either the band or friends and just, play some 4-player Fortnite, which is good fun. And yeah, I just love chilling out and going to the movies and just normal things like that.
Yeah, because correct me if I'm wrong, but once I read that you snapped your back. Isn't that true? How?
Yeah. Well, it's a combination of things. It was two things that really ruined it. We were driving, it was our friend's wedding, and we had to make a festival, and it was the day after the wedding, and we were late. So it was like, the festival was kind of down south near London, and our friend lived up north, and it was like a 6-7 hour drive that we had zero time for any breaks. So like everyone needed a wee so bad, and it was like one of those things like, you don't have time, you're just going to have to hold it or go in a bottle because we're going to miss the festival. So it was like 7 or 8 hours without stopping, and I think my back was not in a good way from that. And I'd loaded some gear on stage, and as soon as I kind of like picked it up, I was like, oh, this doesn't feel good. But we had no time to think about it, so I got on stage, and you kind of just go through the pain, and you think it's all right. And then we did this wall of death, where we get the two, sides of the crowd to run into each other, and I jumped into the middle of the mosh pit, and just as the two crowds were running together, someone did a backflip, and I tripped over them, and like everyone landed on my my back was done. So yeah, I that's another reason why I kind of need to take care of myself a little bit more now, because yeah, like every few days on a tour, it'll be like, oh, there's that old pain again.
Our age is showing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now I try and warm up before shows. I never used to do that. And we just, you just chuck the stuff on, you're like, oh, it's fine. But now I'm more like, okay, lift with your legs,
Bend your knees. So can people expect you to jump in the mosh pit during the concerts?
I mean, I still sometimes do that now, but I'm a little bit more careful.
Probably a good idea.
Yeah, so occasionally I still can't resist, but I try and choose my moments.
Smart. Do you have anything to say to, actually, hopefully, all the European countries you're hitting?
I mean, it's just been so long. We're just so excited to be back, really. We got to do a few festivals last summer, but not too. There was that kind of like hangover from, all the festivals that had been postponed from lockdown. So yeah, there were like a few we did, but this is like the first time we're properly going back to a lot of places we haven't played in 3 or 4 years plus. So yeah, we're just really excited to see everyone again, and get to play so many songs from the album that we've never played before in these countries.
Oh, we're all so excited to have you here. It's going to be fun. And that was basically that. That was my 20 minutes.
Oh, cool. Awesome.